Welcome back to Dork Points, everybody. This is Ron, and tonight I'm going to show you all the games I have recently played on PS Extra, all the free games that you can play on PS Extra, starting with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Yay! So happy when this this came to Extra. Not only because I didn't have to pay for it. Well, that's the main reason. But also, yeah, it's the only Borderlands game I haven't played, and I like it. Do I love it? I love parts of it. Look at this wonderful scene where you're walking into this whale. It's just beautiful. Pinocchio side storyline, wonderful. But the guns and the comparing guns, the system they have, it's different, and I don't like it. And when you hit circle to exit one gun, you can exit the menu, and then it'll compare a gun with, like, a grenade. It doesn't make any sense. They gotta fix that. Otherwise, mostly a great game. The local multiplayer is not fun, and it was hard to find anybody who wanted to play this with me online as well, so it's weird, because I really enjoyed it. I love the characters and the story. Everything about it is great. But there's also this feeling of malaise. Can I use that word? just a blasé feeling at the end of all of it, unfortunately. All right, Session Skate Sim. Now, I played this one for about 3 days. What you are about to see is my first night playing this. Now, I had never played Skate. I don't know any of these more intuitive skating games, so yeah, it was a hard run, and that's why I'm showing this, because this is, if you haven't played one of these games, this is going to be your first evening with the game, is just falling. Now, eventually I was able to ollie and do certain things and get around the world, and I enjoyed it a little more, but then I got to a trick where they wanted to do a ollie into a kickflip into another ollie, and I just couldn't quite get it, and I gave up, unfortunately. I promise I'll go back to that one, though. Alright, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. I loved Coteries of New York, even though it's just a choose-your-own-adventure. This is a real game. I love all those vampire games where you can use your vampire powers, and you can do that in this game, but it is mostly linear. Actually, it's completely linear. And then the perk point system doesn't make any sense at all. You're supposed to allocate perks to certain abilities before you go into the story. Now, why would you do that? Because then you don't know what you need for that story. So the whole idea, I think, from the developer side, is that they want you to play the story once and then go back and kind of, have a better playthrough. But what do I care about that? So, bleh. Alright, House of Ashes. Now this is, and I think for the most part, it's so sad. I felt blah about a lot of these games, but this was the treat for me. I really enjoyed this. It's from, it's the Dark Pictures anthology. It's from the same people who also did Until Dawn and The Quarry, and it is great. I love it. This was the game. I think the only game on this list that I can say I love. I really loved it. It's frustrating sometimes. And the fact that they keep changing the QuickTime event for every game. Why are you doing that, developers? It takes so long to learn how to play a different style of QuickTime event. Ugh. But, other than that, I mean, the motion capture of these actors, the actors themselves, their vocal performances, the storyline, everything that happens, it really is a playable horror movie, and it's a good horror movie. And I think you will enjoy it. Check it out. Yay! Alright, Noir. Now, I got the title cut off there, because, I don't know, the whole title screen was moving on me. Anyway, it's Play With Your Food. The controls on this are really kind of confusing and obtuse, and I don't love them, but you can just mess around in it too. So it's this weird double-sided game where you you can play through all the levels and just goof around. But yeah, this system, where it's like ignite, dispel, they don't teach you exactly how to do it, and then when you hold L2 down to do it, it just dispels everything. So there's some weird mastery here that I'm just not getting yet. It hasn't clicked for me. Kind of like Sifu, where it didn't click for me, and so I was able to play it and enjoy it, but still felt kind of like left out of the party here, because there's no way to platinum this game unless you really know what you're doing, and so I felt kind of like a tourist. But what a beautiful thing. Look at this thing. What a beautiful thing to tour and to look at and just to go through. So a win for both, I think. Alright, moving on to Observer System Redux. So this is an older game. It's a Redux version, I guess. Your character is Rutger Hauer, by the way, voiced by Rutger Hauer, who has passed away, and he was probably like 80-something years old when he did the voice recordings for this, and so his voice sounds like this the whole game. I have to find my son. And other than that, the investigating's cool. You have 3 ways to investigate: the human eye, a bio eye, where you can see blood and human things, and then an electrical eye, where you can see wires and where they lead to and stuff like that. Really cool, super cyberpunky. Is it fun, though, is the question. And I was trying to find that out, but unfortunately, along the way, I got stuck in this part where it's in a nightmare situation, about, I would say, maybe 2 hours into the game, and you just keep going into these 3 rooms, and they're interconnected, and they just cycle through, and you're totally lost. So I haven't looked up a walkthrough as to how to stop repeating this cycle of going through the same room over and over again. Like, all the rooms are just connected in a circle. It's really weird. So, we'll see. Alright, Deliver Us, Mars. Now, here's a game I beat that I did not like. I know, and, I warned you with this list. It's a bummer, man. I love Deliver Us the Moon. This game is weirdly in third person, and it starts off strong, but then you get to the puzzle element, and you feel like they're just wasting your time. And I have seen, because I had to beat this game, kind of almost out of hatred or anger. I had to beat this game. I started watching walkthroughs. Yes, I did it for one game, people. And so I was watching walkthroughs, and every person in the walkthrough said the same thing. They were like, why is this puzzle designed this way? It doesn't make any sense. And then these parts, too. The climbing, your pickaxes are slippy and slippery and don't work the way they should. And this part, in particular, is at the end of the game, and the only way I was able to beat it is by getting zapped by this wall and thrown onto the platform. Okay, now character design. Look at this character. She looks like a melted Barbie. What's going on here? Is this just the PS4 version? Does she look better on PS5? But then look at her. She looks fine. The hair doesn't look great, but, otherwise okay. And then beautiful environments. They really put a lot of, and I say this a lot, they put a lot of love and stuff into it. But man, in the end, I don't know. The ending was a little divisive for me. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, moving on to Days Gone. Our final game that you can still play for free on Extra. Yes, there's a bonus part to this video, but this is the final game I'm going to show you that you can jump on PS Extra right now and just play. And, I did enjoy it, but this whole part, yeah, dying this way, like, over and over again, really sucks. And, it happens all the time, and it's stressful and unpleasant. And it's random, which is nice. So once in a while you'll go to the same area and there won't be any zombies there, but then other times you'll randomly run to an area and there's like 100 zombies or a horde just gathering, and they just rip you to shreds. Okay. Now, other than, that, and that's not that big of an issue, I've gotten over that, but this map system and your missions, it's like you complete a mission and then it doesn't suggest to you what your next mission is. So you have to go to the storylines and be like, Well, I guess I'll play this one next. What's going to move the story forward? They don't tell you. Now, other than that, I am enjoying this game. I'm still playing it, but I am going to keep playing this game, and I enjoy aspects of it. It has Metal Gear stealthy elements. Look at this. Yeah, some of these segments are just fun. So it really is a quality game, and you can't deny it. There's just a few small problems, compared to those other games that I mentioned earlier. There's not a huge problem yet. Alright, now, this is a special segment. These are all the games I have mentioned in Leaving Soon videos, and I promised you that I was going to play them. I was going to finish them before they left PS Extra, and guess what? I did, so here we go. First on the list, it's Last Stop. I really enjoyed this, not as much as House of Ashes. It's more like a playable TV show than a playable movie. Also, your decisions, your choices here don't matter. They don't seem to matter much. These choices don't matter. Now, if you leave someone behind or you're going to save this person, yeah, those choices matter, but they're pretty obvious. But everything else, just in your talking, does not affect any of the other characters, which is a shame. However, it's done in episodes, so it's like playing a cool TV series, and each episode ends on a cliffhanger, so you just keep going and going and eating up. It's a tough start at first, but once you get about 3 episodes in, like right here, bam! Yeah, I was hooked. And I really enjoyed my time playing it. I have a few problems with the ending, but I can't say anything about that without spoiling it. But play it. It's worth playing. Last Stop. Alright, now let's talk about Tacoma! Yay! What a great game. This is another one I loved, and it's pretty great. It's basically the proper spiritual successor to Deliver Us the Moon, because it's in first person, you're on a spaceship, and you're basically just seeing, like, the digital ghost images of people who were on the station, but it's completely empty, and you're just watching their story basically through the computer and finding out what happened to them. And it's really good. It's fairly short. I would say maybe 3 hours of length. There's no puzzle element, which I kind of appreciate. It's just playing the story. And yeah, it's just simple and cool. And then you see these little question marks on the screen. Each one of those is a piece of information. Some of the data is corrupted, as you can see there, and then other stuff is not. And you just kind of gather information. It's great. All right, Adrift. Now, got a lot of space games on this list. But, I raved about this in the Leaving Soon, saying I was going to play it and keep playing it. And I played it for 2 or 3 nights and then just got kind of fed up with the stressful nature of the game. There's parts inside the station where you're just kind of looking around trying to figure things out, but most of the game, or at least 50% of the game, is this. You floating through space, trying to grab oxygen, and sometimes it floats away, and then you want to punch the screen. So it gets old after a while, and again, I know it's called Adrift, but there really is a sense sometimes of not knowing where you're actually supposed to be going. Some parts are simple, like this one you see here. You're going from one piece of the station to the next, but again, you have to grab that oxygen, and I guess it's just not my game. Alright, Alex. Now this one, of course, was kind of bashed by everybody. It's they really I don't know if they bit off more than they can chew here or what, but they were going for like a Witcher thing or maybe even a Dragon Age kind of thing. It's a post-apocalyptic world. There's some future tech around, but your character just kind of gets betrayed by one of his teammates and just gets dropped in the world. And the combat is good, but the story is not interesting at all. Like, they don't set up anything, and then when you get to, like, the first big hub world, you're just, like, there to do random side missions so that the leader of the group will give you more information about where you need to go to find the bad guy. I don't know. They just didn't do it right here. Clearly a lot of effort and ideas poured into it, but did not pull off the concept the way they could have or should have. Anyway. All right, final game of the night, Absolver Downfall. Now, I said in the Leaving Soon video that I was going to play this over Sifu, and sorry, but I'm still playing Sifu, and I'm not playing this. So it's basically, I think it's the same people. I'm pretty sure it's the same people. The fighting style, and the reason I liked it so much, is the fighting style is so much simpler than Sifu. It's a little easier to get into, but it's basically just like an open world kind of thing, like a From Software where you open one door and then go around and fight a bunch of dudes and come back, through that door into the same area and just like opening places up. But it's I understand the characters are faceless, but the game itself is almost soulless and faceless, like story and everything. It's just you play it for a couple hours and you realize that there's really not much to this other than the enjoyable combat. Unfortunately. So there you go, Absolver. Yay! Hey, there you go. That's all the games I played on PS Extra. I hope you enjoyed that, and have a wonderful night, and goodbye.